Hi, I'm Liz Scissors with Splitting Hairs. Today we're going to talk about consultations. Consultations are the cornerstone. They are pivotal to success with client interactions. We have to make sure that time we talk to them sets us up for a successful grooming appointment and a successful long-term relationship with them. So today I'm going to tell you a few things that are vital to it, which is you've got your phone interaction or / your walk-in, your initial consultation with that person. Then you have your first appointment with them, and that one is critical for making sure that your grooming appointment goes well. And then lastly, we have your future recommendations to set you up for even more success in the future with that client. Okay, so let's get into it. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a solid voicemail. You're not going to be a slave to your phone. You're going to make sure that you have all the pertinent information on your voicemail for your business, as well as a level of expectation for when they should receive a phone call back. So you're going to make sure you either tell them that you don't answer the phone when you're, during business hours because of the fact that you have dogs on the table or dogs in the tub, or you're going to tell them that you'll get to them as soon as it's safe for you to do it, or by the end of the business day, or 24 hours, or whatever you decide is best for your business and your situation. But you're going to make sure that you not only give them a level of expectation, but you also deliver on that expectation. That is absolutely so incredibly important that we do what we say we're going to do. If you tell them you're going to call them back by the end of the business day, you don't forget you have to call that person back. You make sure you call them back. It's just good business. You need to be professional. If you don't call them back, it tells them that you're not reliable, and we don't want to do that. That's the first interaction they've had with you is via that voicemail. So you've got to make sure that it's solid. After you've done that, we're now going to move on to your first appointment consultation. And that is the phone rings off the hook and you're answering the phone. Thank you for calling, blah, 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 blah. Or they walk in off the street. Hi, I'd like to make an appointment or talk to you about making an appointment. So what we're going to do in that first initial impression is we're going to make sure it is the impression we want to give. First and foremost, we are in the beauty business. In the beauty business, we got to look good. So it's important to have good appearance. Doesn't mean you have to have your hair and makeup done. It just means you look like you care about what you look like. Because I don't care what anybody says. I've been in this industry for almost 30 years. And I can tell you countless times where owners said, I would never take my dog in there, and it doesn't matter how good of a groomer they are, that girl looks like she just rolled out of bed. Or she don't look like she cares about what she looks like. Why would she care about what she makes my dog look like? So those are important impressions to think about. And even though we know the work should speak for itself, it's a package, man. I mean, first impressions are everything. We judge based on the book. It just is what it is. It's human nature. So accept it. Do the best you can to make sure you're giving the impression you want to give. If you want somebody to think that you care about what you look like, then look like that. If you want to just be clean and well kept, fine, whatever you want to do. But when they walk in that salon or they call you, it's your voice. Hi, how are you? You got to make sure that you're happy to hear from them. They want a positive experience. You want to give them a positive experience. And if you're having a bad day, set it on the shelf. It is not for them. Be business. When you're at the shop, if you're in the mobile or you're at their house, it's about them. It's not about you. This is business. And if we expect to be taken seriously, we need to take it seriously. You can't let your other stuff overflow onto your business. So we answer the phone. We are polite. We are professional. We ask questions. We answer questions. We're happy to hear from them because we are. Be sincere. Don't be fake. Make sure that it's coming across genuine because they can tell. So smile. How are you? Thank you for coming in. How can I help you? When they start asking for an appointment, there's very important questions you need to ask to set yourself up for a successful appointment time. So we want to know the breed of the dog. That is the first and foremost information we need. Breed of the dog. We also want to know the age of the dog. Why do we want to know the age of the dog? Because it tells us where we should put that dog. Same as the breed tells us where we should put that dog in our schedule. If you are being appropriate with your scheduling, then you're going to make sure you put that dog exactly where it needs to be. Set yourself up for a positive, successful appointment. Make sure you have booked yourself enough time. If the client is giving you information like the breed, you know where you have time in your schedule around the dogs you already have booked. If you don't have time for it, book it where you have time. Do not slam yourself or shortcut yourself, because you're going to end up long-term in a non-successful relationship because you haven't put them where it makes sense for you to put them. We need it to make sense. Breed a dog, age a dog. Age of dog is also a huge issue. We need to know. If you don't ask them on the phone, or you don't ask them when they walk in off the street, how do you know how much time you need for that dog? Say the average dog you book is an hour-and-a-half appointment, and you book a dog, don't know how old it is, and the thing is 16 freaking years old and can hardly stand. That is not going to be an hour-and-a-half appointment. It's just not. It's going to take more time. So we're going to make sure we ask them those questions. We also are going to ask them about their grooming history. How often do you get your dog groomed? Is it on a regular basis? If they say, oh, whenever he needs it, that tells you things. If they say, oh, he's faithfully done every 6 weeks, that tells you something else. So we have to make sure we're asking those questions so we have a better idea of how this appointment is probably going to go. And if we're predicting that it's going to go easy peasy, no big deal, then we're going to book for that. If we are predicting that it's going to take us extra time, we're going to make sure we book for that, so that we put it at the end of the day, or we make sure it's first thing in the morning, or whatever. But case by case, we have to be clear as to where that is going to make the most sense for our day and how our salon operates. If you're a one-on-one and you book one and then finish it and then take the next one, if you don't have any wiggle room in there and you didn't get that information, you are going to be in trouble. And we all know that because we've all done it. If somebody has an accident, or somebody has more matting than we expected, we need more time. So you need to make sure you're booking for yourself and your schedule and your staff and how you operate. After we found the breed and we found the age and we found the grooming history, we're going to also throw in the mix that you are paying attention to the verbiage that the client uses. Make sure you're paying attention to how they talk about them. Most clients, thankfully, will just volunteer the information and they'll just share because they love their dogs and they want us to know about their dog. So they're going to tell us, hey, Fluffy's been going to a groomer since he was born and he just loves his groomers. Or, he's hated it his whole life and I just don't know why. They're going to give us information, and those things we can use to our advantage to make sure that we hit on those things when we actually get to meet them. So while we're doing that phone consultation or that first walk-in consultation, it's all those pertinent points that we want to hit on, that we are asking the appropriate questions to make sure that we're setting them up in the exact spot that will make sure and guarantee we have success with that person, because we have a real kind of Achilles heel in our industry. And that is, we are asked to give them something that we can't guarantee we're going to give them. So they are asking us if we can give them exactly what they want, and we are telling them we are, but we can't guarantee it because it's unpredictable. Everybody's a little bit different. Style's a little bit different. All of it's a little bit different. So we really want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up in the best possible manner so that we give them exactly what they want and exactly what they expect to the best of our ability. Okay? So now we're moving on. We have made our appointment. Now they're coming in for their appointment. When they come in for their appointment, we want to pay attention to the details. We want to pay attention to how did they pull up, if we can see that from our salons. From a storefront, you can usually tell. Or if you're mobile and you're going up, how does the dog get brought out to you, or how does it greet you? You pay attention to the details. They have a relationship with their dog, and their dog is showing you with its body language exactly what kind of training they have, what kind of relationship they have with their owner. And if they have a well-trained dog, that tells you a lot of things. You can anticipate that this dog probably has decent behavior because it's got manners. That's awesome. If they come in and the dog has not touched the ground since it was born, they're probably going to be a little bit spoiled and a little bit difficult to handle. We're going to be prepared for that because we're paying attention. So mom comes in. We are going to go over the details. We're going to, number one, we're going to remember who she was. Why? Because we wrote it down and we were smart. We made sure we wrote down anything pertinent for us to remember so that when they actually come in for that first appointment, we can respond in a way that made them feel special. We remembered that their dog had an ACL surgery. We remembered that Fluffy gets ear infections. We wrote it down. So help yourself out. Give yourself little cheater tools so that you are looking like you're more professional. It goes a really, really long way in that long-term success because they feel like you're invested. You care. And you do care. They pay your bills, you care. All those things get dealt with in that first initial consult. They say, hey, I'm a runner. I like to run all the time, and my dog loves to run with me, and he tends to get really tangled in his chest area because he's running all the time, and I've got him on a harness. We might suggest a haircut that is going to be appropriate to that lifestyle. We're going to put you in that teddy bear / lamb pattern, whatever your salon calls it, where we're going to take the body a little bit tighter. We're going to leave a little bit of flare on the legs, but nothing crazy because we want you to be successful. We don't want to give you a beautiful haircut that is not maintainable for your lifestyle. We're just going to be smart. We're going to work smart, not hard. So we get that consult out of the way. We make sure that we're specific with them. They're specific with us. We have a handle on what we're going to do on the dog. Now we do the grooming appointment. All right. So we've moved on. We are now on our finished. We've done the grooming. We're ready to rock and roll with telling the client that, all our recommendations. So when we call them to let them know their dog is ready, a lot of clients like to ask, hey, how'd he do? I personally love the building up of the climax of the successful grooming appointment. So I typically don't give them a lot of information on the phone when I call them. Most of our clients, honestly, we text them when their dog is ready and say, hey, they're ready to go, come on over. And so we don't have to worry about that. But if you do talk to them and they want to know information, I typically just say, oh, I'll talk to you when you get here, I've got to go. And I just make it seem like I don't have time. I usually don't have time. But that way, I've kind of built up the anticipation of this haircut and the final product. So when they come in, I really recommend you do not bring the dog out straight away. Make sure you have their attention when you are giving your recommendations. It's like a child. I need your eyes on me if you're going to hear me. If you had a bad interaction, say there's bad things happen, the dog wasn't cooperative, the dog was in terrible condition, whatever it was, if you have negative feedback to give, or it was a great appointment, it doesn't matter. However it is, when they first come in, the very first thing you want to remember is make sure you tell them something positive. Make sure you tell them something good about their dog. Their dog is cute. Their dog was sweet. Their dog was patient. Their dog was tolerant. Their dog has beautiful coat. Whatever it is, you want to give them positive feedback right from the get-go, thanking them for trusting you and bringing that dog to you. Once you've given them that positivity, now you're going to segue into your recommendations. Say you need to give them some bad feedback, like, he's really, really tolerant for this part and this part, but he really can't stand this part. He gave me a hard time and I actually had to muzzle him, or I needed some assistance by one of the other members of the staff and they had to come and assist me because he really kind of had a hard time with that. If you hadn't already discussed it in the consultation that he struggles with something, that might be news to them. There are so many groomers that do not give an honest kind of what's the word I want to use there? They're not honest with their clients about how the interaction went and how the appointment went. If the dog was struggling with having its nails done, they don't want to tell him that because then the client might get upset and they might not bring him back. Well, the truth is people want to know the truth. They don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be lied to. You don't want to be lied to. And I really, really recommend that in any of your interactions, put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you were talked to this way? How would you feel if you were asked questions like this or in this way? And if you do that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be pretty cautious about how you approach people and how you talk to them because you wouldn't want to be talked to like you just, you're giving a bad report card to somebody and shame on you. No, if they, they don't know what their dogs are like when we are asking them to do things that they don't do. So when you're giving your feedback, make sure you're honest, but you're professional and you're kind. And if you're going to give them something negative, you better give them a solution to that, to fix it. Because if you're just saying, Scruffy was bad. Scruffy doesn't like to be dried. Scruffy doesn't like the water. How are they supposed to fix that if they don't bathe their dog at home? If they don't have a high force velocity dryer or stand dryer or a table, how are they supposed to fix that? They can't. So let's make sure that we are working smart by saying, hey, you know, he really struggled with having his nails done. It's really common for dogs to not like that. Here's why. Give them the information about that. Once you've given them that information, you then give them recommendations on, you know, here's something you could try. They really don't like this, but here's something you could try that might make it better. If you're helping us at home, it'll make it easier on them here. You give them positive solutions that they can try. Get them on board. We're a team. This is a team effort. I need your help. When you enlist them like that, they're going to get on board. 99% of them do. And that 1% that isn't on board, in my opinion, bye. See ya. Not interested. If you're not interested in making your dog's appointment go better, I'm not interested in you as a client. But most of them are. Most of them want it to go good. They want their dog to have a good experience. They want them to come out with the haircut that they want because you've been able to have a good experience on the table because they've followed your recommendations. They're coming in when you told them to. They're helping out in the ways that you've asked them to. And so the experience is going to go so much better for the dog and for the client. So, in conclusion, we're going to give our recommendations on how often that dog needs to come in for the haircut that that client is asking for how much they're willing to participate in that haircut. Or we're also going to give them options. If we give them, say, a 6-week recommendation or an 8-week recommendation, and they don't want necessarily to come that often for that, or they don't want it to go that far or whatever, you have options. Give them options. Let them to decide what will work best for them. And if it doesn't work, you're going to find out, and then you go, well, remember, I told you we have other options. You can try this or that. So make sure that you give the recommendation for that dog with that lifestyle, with that coat, and with that hairstyle that is going to be successful in that period of time. So make sure you're paying attention. You know how fast dog coat grows. So let's make sure that we are letting them know, look, if you go that far, it's not going to be good. This haircut's not going to last that long unless you're getting a comb through it from nose to tail. So make sure you set them up for success. The last thing you're going to do is tell them, hey, if there's anything next time you want me to change, we can always change it. There's always options. We can play with this and have fun with this hairstyle and figure out what you like and what you don't like. And so once you've done all of that, you've taken all the pressure off. You've now taught that person they can talk to you next time if they have an issue or they want to change anything, and you're not going to be offended. You've given them, hopefully, everything that they expected, and if you haven't, they know that it's okay because they can tell you because you're approachable. And you've given them successful recommendations for them to get exactly what they want for their situation. And that is all we can ask for. So all of these tips, I hope, really, really help you in your successful consultations with every client interaction. There's a whole lot to it. There's a lot of psychology, a lot of flexing and really thinking on your feet and reading people as well as the dog. But man, it's kind of cool when you can really make somebody a really successful, loyal client because they feel invested, because you showed how much you cared by asking the right questions, by treating them with respect and dignity and making sure they feel like you're on their team. And that really, really helps in that long-term success. So they feel like not only you, but their kids and their kids' kids hopefully will be bringing their dogs to you in your salon. So I thank you so much for your time. I'm Liz Scissors, and this is Splitting Hairs.